Okay, I don't I don't know how this is gonna actually do on YouTube as far as like the color and things like that. I'm gonna try to turn on this lamp. Okay, that's a little better. But turning on the lights, I don't like it. Alright, hi guys. So my name's Kaya, and I have been trying very hard for the last few years to just make my dreams come true, basically. And I am like unofficially diagnosed ADHD, but all the signs are there. I believe that there's some autism there as well. I have not gotten tested. That is one of my goals for this year, is like better care of myself in all areas, and that's mental health. So I want to care for that properly as well. However, the more that I learn about those things, because I'm going to be honest with you, in school, one thing I feel like we didn't take enough time on is like how the book symptoms show up in real life differently in different people. And I don't know, just with background and parents, especially Black parents, deciding like, oh, that doesn't matter. We don't need to give you a diagnosis because we're afraid it'll make you weak, or, you know, just dumb things like that, when it's really holding us back. And so now I'm an adult learning that, oh, these things are going to continue showing up in my life. And I think as a kid, it's a little easier to kind of get by because the main things that you're focused on is like getting good grades in school. Well, I know how to do that. I know how to like fake that and get the grade, or, you know, whatever. I know how to do that. But when it comes to making a whole business work for yourself, when you have all these symptoms and different things like getting in your way, it's really hard. But everybody else in the world doesn't care that you have that. Like, they're not like, oh, I understand that. They don't give a shit. So I have to fix it myself. It's just even more challenging as an adult. Whereas when I was a kid, I only had to use that like to get through school, but I learned the skills to continue the practice, right? And so now as an adult, I'm having to, one, learn how to even recognize how my symptoms show up for me. And sorry guys, like, I know I sound really stuffy. We'll talk about that another day. But anyways, so now I'm having to work and get things done while I learn about my symptoms, then learn, well, how do I combat that symptom? Like, at the same time, when I really could have just learned this as a kid and been proficient at it and would know how to use my symptoms to my advantage, but that was taken away from me. So now I have to figure that out, right? And I try my best to like make fun out of things. That way I'm getting like that dopamine and stuff that my brain is looking for, to like keep it going, because things get really boring really fast. And that is one of the symptoms of ADHD that was there all the time, that just went unnoticed, or, you know, whatever, or it went punished, or it went a million different types of ways. I did go to school to be a therapist. I was a therapist in Oklahoma and Virginia. I was licensed clinical social worker. And I've always known like I would work for myself, but I had no clue how all of these different things would affect me as an adult. And that is what I'm passionate about, is teaching adults like, your kids are being affected by this. Like, you were affected as well. But just because you're choosing to ignore it or whatever doesn't mean that it's not there. And there are things that you could do to so that your kids won't have to go through this, because this it's painful. Like, fighting depression all the time, fighting anxiety all the time, fighting, like, I haven't really had a lot of self-harm type thoughts in a while, but they still creep in. And it's like, this is miserable to deal with, and you can give your children a different way. Like, if I didn't have to fight anxiety all the time, if I didn't get in these different cycles that I get in, that I thought were just me. Like, I thought it was because I wasn't good enough, or there was a problem with me, when really it's just how my brain is for whatever reason, and that's okay. And it's okay to still be me, and like, I can figure it all out. And so yeah, just trying to take my school knowledge plus my experiences plus the gifts that God gave me. And I feel like people always like, oh, well, Kaya, well, how do you know that? Well, I don't know. This is what God made me for. So it comes easily to me. It was really hard in school to like write papers and stuff, because, college wasn't meant for us. So it's set up for their way of thinking, and also doesn't include like neurodivergent type of thinking. Like, it's the normal, like, midline Caucasian male view is what college expects. And I was not prepared at all. I mean, a little bit, like, some teachers would try to tell us stuff, or, whatever, but those were all white teachers too. Like, so they didn't understand what I needed to know as a Black child going into college. They didn't know what to tell me. So I just had to kind of figure it out. While also trying to like believe that I could do it at the same time. Well, in college, like, having to write papers, I had a hard time explaining, like, I know how to prove this is true, but now I have to go find that somebody else said it. Like, that, I hated that. Like, why can't it be validated coming from me? Like, I just understand this, that I'm right, whatever. That is what I'm here to help with. With that being said, one of the things that I try to tell my clients is get it done how you can. For me, I've been trying to do YouTube forever, and I always end up like stopping or whatever, and I don't want it to be that way again. And I feel so I had to look at, okay, Kaya, what is keeping you from getting it done? And one of those is I'm always overthinking how videos have to be posted, what they have to have, and do this. Like, there's just so many rules. So many rules. And for me, that makes it really hard, because it feeds into my overthinking and my anxiety and my procrastination, because I'm like, oh, well, I can't just post that video like this, because I have to do captions, and I have to get like words on the screen, and I have to make sure it's captivating for everybody, and I have to like right? And I'm exhausted before I even get to the task. I'm bored already. And I do like editing. Like, editing is kind of fun for me, but sometimes having to do that is a lot and can easily drift me way out to sea, and I end up doing the furthest thing from it instead of actually what I'm supposed to do. So my idea to kind of combat this is to do these videos a little bit more relaxed, because when I also feel like I have to go set up my iPad, sit in a corner that looks good, get this light and that light, and I again have to take all these extra steps, then I'm frustrated and I'm upset with myself because I'm frustrated, and then my energy is different, and then I don't want to do the video. So then either I'll force myself to do it, but you can read my energy all throughout and I don't like how I'm coming across, or I'm like, nope, because I refuse to record like this, because this is not the energy that I want people to get from me. Yeah, see how we just go with these cycles? But I am determined to break them, because this year I'm getting everything that I want and nothing is going to stop me, especially not me. No, I have big goals for this year. I have listen, I did a tarot reading and it said unrealistic expectations. I said, nope, no. I said, no. So, I don't believe in that. Whatever I want, I can have. God said it already. What is unrealistic? I don't know what that means. So, yeah, I'm gonna do it how I can, in the way that I thought about that felt really easy to me, because that's something that I've been praying about too. Is help me to make it easy so that I don't find ways out of it, because that is one thing I will do, is escape. Okay. So I was like, well, I could just do it vlog style and not overthink all the other things or whatever, because what happens is I'll think of a video I need to make that I think will be really good for y'all, that I will teach you so much and that you all would benefit from, but then I go through all the steps, and I need to set this up, and I need to set that up, and I need to wash my hair, and I need to, and then weeks have gone by and I haven't posted anything, and I have to stop doing that. So we're gonna just talk a little bit more candidly about the different things. Some of them I will set up a camera and sit down and go point by point and do all of those things, but this is a way that I can stop running away from that. And I think it just feels better, I want us to feel like friends talking. That was one thing about therapy, is I hated that we couldn't be friends and cross that barrier, because I think, and I understand why, and I understand you have to be very careful, and all of those things, but sometimes that's what you need. It's just kind of that vibe to really get it. So this is how we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna do minimal editing to this, because this is how I can get it done. That is how I can get it done. So, this is also how I get things done, is brain dumping on the wall. It also helps me to not forget about things that I want, and what I'm doing this for, what my dreams are, all those things. Also, usually when I write out and put up on the wall, I don't know, it comes true, which is why I need to stop playing and do me a physical vision board again, because honey. I don't know why I be playing with like the tools. Like that's I got a message earlier, like a spiritual download that was just like, Kaya, you have all these tools, like you know all of these things, but are you actually using them? Like, you know how to bring in $1,000 tomorrow, so do it. Like, I don't know, I guess because sometimes it doesn't work as fast as I want or expect it to, but yeah. Anyway, let me know how you all feel about this. And obviously, like, as we talk about mental health things, you'll kind of get a better understanding of like where I'm going with this. I just have to do something because if I don't get what I want this year, like, it's my fault. Okay, so you gotta start somewhere. And if I'm going to tell people that, I have to be doing it as well. So that's what I'm doing, getting it done how I can. I don't believe that. Here's the thing. What I do believe is that God can do anything, right? Like, I've always had big faith. Like, and maybe it's because of like the autism and like how I receive information, but I know that like, oh, God could do anything, and like that faith part that I was taught stuck heavy. Okay, and so I try to live that out as much as I can, but you know, the same people who are teaching you about faith were also pointing out all the negatives that can happen and teaching you to fear, right? So you end up having to combat those, and they end up coming together just because of how all that works. Working on using my faith and remembering that whoever God wants these videos to get to, it's gonna get to them. Like, even if I don't do all the fancy things and all of that, like, there are so many people on here that their video quality is trash because, like, I don't mean it in a bad way, but like, you know what I mean? And they're getting millions of views, like, but here I am overthinking all these things, trying to listen to other people, because that's what I've been taught to do my whole life, is like, listen to what everybody else is telling you, you know, don't try to figure it out for yourself, don't try to do your own thing, because what we're telling you is what has to be right, you know. And healing from all that, like, I have to free myself to do things the way that I can and that is best for me. So over time, I will get better and I will get into a flow of how I want things to work, because I do like for things to be pretty and aesthetic and, you know, all of those things. But if that is the one thing that's getting in the way, and it's not even really something that matters that much, then I'm allowing that to get in the way. You know what I mean? So some of these videos are gonna just be like this. Some I will like actually sit down and talk and, you know, do that kind of focus recording. But by doing it this way, it gives my brain that reward of like, oh yeah, that feels good that we just went ahead and did that. And I'll, like, it becomes a habit. And it does what I'm supposed to do. One thing that I really want to know is, if you are with strict parents, how does that show up in your life today? I'm curious to see how much you all see those connections and what challenges that you're having the most, that I can direct videos, you know, towards those things. So leave that in the comments and let me know. Okay. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, follow, all those things. Share, and let me know what your thoughts are. Do you like this? I know I'm moving a lot, so if that's something that bothers you, you can tell me. But yeah, let me know.